Thank you so much, first of all, for purchasing this. The mead kits directly support ourselves, they support local beekeepers, and also just the hobby of making homebrew, something that our president, Jimmy Carter, allowed us to do. Good known fact. The mead kit should take about 2 to 3 months to complete from start to finish, and it will make about 2 cases of wine bottles for you. For making your mead kit, I would recommend doing this in your kitchen. Honey itself is very sticky and it gets everywhere, I promise. No matter how careful you are, it will get on your surfaces. So just somewhere where you can easily clean. Access to running water is also a plus. During fermentation, you're going to want to find a cooler, dark place to kind of store your mead. Usually a closet or your garage or a basement will do great for it. You just want something that's going to be in the 60 to 80 degree Fahrenheit range for the mead during fermentation. This video is just about what's in your mead kit that you purchased. That's going to have 2 5-gallon buckets. One of them will have a spigot on it, which will allow you to transfer your mead over as you're at that step. You can just turn the spigot and it will put mead out. Let's see here. We also have some tubing and a transfer wand. The tubing will both fit on the spigot itself and on the siphon, which you can then use to transfer your mead during that step. What's also included in the kit is 1 gallon of King Cobra honey. Ali and Alicia have been operating King Cobra out of Mebane, North Carolina for a while now, and their honey is fantastic. We've used it in our brews here at Honey Girl before, and I'm excited that you guys get to use some local North Carolina honey in your mead kit. So that's going to be what we're going to ferment. And in order to ferment that, we're going to use some yeast. I selected 71B for this ferment. It's a really nice yeast. I used to use it a lot in my early homebrew days. 71B is very competitive, meaning that if there's any other microbes in your mead that during the start, it's going to outcompete them for the resources that it needs. 71B also does malloethanolic fermentation, so any kind of acid like malic acid in there, it'll convert that into alcohol. So that's 71B. And in order to make that happy, we also have some Go Firm Protect. When we get to the rehydration step of the mead making, that will help the yeast propagate and make strong cell walls and be able to really ferment your mead all the way. We also have some Fermate O. This is an organic nutrient that we use. It has free amino nitrogen in it. It has zinc, it has potassium. It has everything yeast need during the fermentation phase in order to have a healthy ferment. So that's going to be added throughout the ferment. And of course you have a lid for your buckets. This lid should work on both buckets that you have, your primary and your secondary aging vessel bucket. This one's your primary, this one's your secondary. This is an airlock. It's an S-style airlock. It's sort of like an S. And you fill it about halfway with water. There's a line that says max on that. That will prevent oxygen from getting inside of your mead as you are fermenting it. It just goes on top of the lid with that rubber stopper that's included. You just kind of like put it in there, twist it a little bit to get it in, and it'll fit right in. Like I said, it fits right on top of the mead kit. I have been making mead for about 10 years now. I started in my dorm room at Chapel Hill making mead, and ever since it's been a kind of a hobby of mine. When I started making mead professionally, I did so at Honeysuckle Meadery in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I made about a dozen meads there in my year of time at that location before I came over to Honey Girl Meadery as an assistant mead maker. And I've been here for about 3 or 4 years now, so that's my history of it. Mead making at home is excellent. You get to make delicious wine for a lot less cost than what you buy in the store. You get to use whatever honey you want. So if you want to like experiment with some dark, like avocado blossom or buckwheat honey, you can make something really awesome with that. I've selected a spring wildflower honey, which is very light. It's fruity, it's very tasty. It's going to be a delicious traditional dry mead. Mead is like a blank canvas, where in traditional winemaking you have to look at what kind of grape you're using and kind of make your wine based on that varietal. With mead, honey is so versatile that you can add cranberry or blackberry or any kind of spice that you want to. You can make a pumpkin spice mead. You can make a spiced apple mead that tastes like an apple pie. So that it's very versatile. It's also easier than beer making. So with beer, you have to boil your grain, you have to add your hops at certain times, and while that is easy once you know how to do it, it's kind of confusing the first time you do it. With honey, the sugar is already extracted, the bees have done all the work for us, so we really just need to dilute it down with water and mix it up and add the yeast, and then it will begin to ferment. So it's an easy step to get into homebrewing. If you're experienced with homebrewing as well, even beer, you'll find that mead is very easy to adapt to. While this mead kit has everything you need to make 5 gallons of dry traditional mead, we hope to see all sorts of experimentation happen with your mead kit. If you want, at the end of fermentation, you can add cranberries to it, or you can add spices. You can sweeten it with your own honey at home, or fruit juice, or whatever you might think would be good in your mead. And in fact, we're going to be doing, at the end of this mead kit experiment, a little blind taste testing with all the people who made the mead kits. We're going to vote, and we're going to see who wins through that blind tasting. Whoever wins gets to make a batch of mead with me, Mead Maker William at Honey Girl Meadery. During the beginning of the process, we might release a couple of videos every week, but towards the end, it will start to slow down as the process takes its magic and its time to finish. The next video is going to be on beginning the fermentation, and we should be releasing that next week. So look for that, and then we'll talk about feeding after that. Another cool thing about mead making is that it's the oldest form of fermentation. So you're doing something that people, as far as our records go, 12,000 BC, were doing in their homes as well. So that's also very exciting. Once again, thank you so much for buying the mead kit. Good luck on your fermentation. If you have any questions about anything, you can contact us either at honeygirlmeadery@gmail.com or our Instagram or Facebook pages. All right, y'all, happy mead making. Good luck. Woo!